Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, thank you for being here today. I want to first talk about the significant role that the FBI plays in combating the national security threats posed by our nation's greatest threat, our nation's greatest security threat, China and the Chinese Communist Party. It's a fact that China is America's most significant national security threat, isn't that correct?
I would say so, sir.
And you would agree with me that China wants to dominate the United States of America?
I think that's largely their plan.
And they want to dominate the world, both militarily and economically, isn't that correct?
I think so.
And sir, you've been FBI director for the last, 8 months?
7 months, yes.
7 months, and during that time, have you held any stock in any companies founded in China?
I don't believe so.
Well, you do own stock in a company known as Elite Depot, don't you?
Which one, sorry?
Elite Depot. You own stock.
I think that's, I'll have to get back to you. I think it's a law firm and it's a company out of Singapore.
Okay, well, no, the company out of Singapore, which is owned by Elite Depot, is the Shein Company, which was founded in China, correct?
That company operates out of Taiwan.
Well, they changed their headquarters from China back in 2022 to Singapore for tax purposes, but it's owned by a Chinese billionaire. I think his name is Charlie Zhu, and you own stock in the company that owns Shein.
Which I disclosed during my confirmation process.
You certainly did. And now, do you still hold that stock in that Chinese company?
Pursuant to the Department of Justice, who reviewed my material that was submitted during my confirmation process, I was able to hold certain stocks, and they made the decision.
You still hold the stocks that you have? You still hold on to these Chinese stocks, these stocks in this Chinese company?
I disagree that it's a Chinese company, but I was in the DOJ, when you're appointed, makes a call on what you can and can't possess.
Well, now, let me ask you this. Chinese companies steal trademarks, they produce counterfeit products and sell them over the internet on platforms such as Shein. They steal intellectual property. They steal data from American companies. And to me, it seems inconsistent with your role as FBI director that you would own stock in a company that is based in a country that is the nation's premier national security threat. It's like you are putting your own financial security over the security of the nation.
I disagree with that characterization.
Well, I think the American people look at it like it's a classic situation of the fox guarding the hen house. If the FBI is charged with investigating espionage, economic espionage by companies controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, and you are the director of the FBI, you've got a conflict of interest.
Sir, I would just show if there's any intimation that I'm against.
Why are you holding on to this stock?
It wasn't a decision I made.
And it's valued at up to $5 million as of when you last reported, correct? $5 million in stock?
No, I don't follow it.
You don't follow it, but you're still making money off of it.
I don't have any money off of anything.
Well,
what I have done...
Trump's trade policies directly impact the value of that Chinese stock. Won't you agree with that?
Which trade policy? I'm not a trade expert.
Okay, all right.
But I want to tell you this.
You're crazy on me today. Let me ask you this question. Why are you hiding pedophiles? Why are you shielding pedophiles? Why are you protecting pedophiles?
That is maybe the most offensive thing you could say to me, given the numbers.
Well, you have not released
given the
Epstein
numbers
files
of pedophiles.
You are aware of the
Epstein
Epstein client list that was published in the 18,000.
The gentleman has expired. The gentleman yields back.
Can he answer the question?
Can I just respond?
Of course, the gentleman can answer the question.
Since I took over the FBI, there has been a 33% increase.
Sir, all of that started under Christopher
Your
Wray.
time is done, but
No, it didn't.
the witness gets to
All of
answer
that
the
started
question,
under
and then
the
we'll go to our
previous,
next.
FBI director, sir, and you're coming in here trying to take credit for something that a previous director
Gentlemen,
instituted and largely brought to conclusion.
I take
I
no
think it's been
credit.
clear that
offensive.
the director
It's offensive.
has numbers are so
incorrect
much
also.
better than the previous director.
It's
Director Patel, if you want to
I
answer
take-
the question.
I take no credit. The men and women of the FBI have seen a 33% increase in the number of counterintelligence arrests out of the PRC.
So all of a sudden, with
And
you
the-
coming in 7 months ago,
and,
Gentlemen, his time has
Heaven on earth.
expired.
and on the
sir, the
pedophile
American public not
accusation,
going to go for that.
we have arrested 1,500 child predators in the last 7 months.
Under
That's
investigations
more than
initiated by
anybody
the prior
Appreciate the
directorship.
director.
What you just watched wasn't just a heated exchange. It was a glimpse into the tension at the very core of America's national security politics. On one side, you have congressional Republicans drilling into the FBI director about China, arguably America's biggest geopolitical adversary. On the other, you have an FBI chief trying to defend not just his agency, but his own integrity under the weight of an accusation that's designed to sting because it strikes directly at public trust. This moment reveals something deeper than a disagreement over stock ownership. It exposes the uncomfortable friction between national security oversight and political combat. When the congressman presses Patel on whether he owns stock connected to companies founded in China, he is actually raising a broader question: whether those in power can truly be impartial when America's biggest economic and intelligence rival sits embedded in so many layers of global commerce. And whether you agree with the congressman or not, that question matters. The United States is locked in economic, technological, and cyber conflict with China. Intellectual property theft, hacking operations, foreign influence campaigns, these aren't conspiracies, they're documented realities. So the tension you heard wasn't just political theater, it was a collision between personal ethics and national vulnerability. But then the confrontation takes a sharp, dramatic turn, shifting from foreign policy to one of the most emotionally charged subjects in America: child exploitation. And this is where the hearing's tone changes instantly. You can hear it in Patel's voice, that moment when he describes the accusation as the most offensive thing you could say to me. That line reveals how deeply the FBI sees its role in combating child predators, and how personally the criticism lands. The congressman's accusation, abrupt, unconnected to the previous topic, and delivered like a grenade, wasn't just a challenge to Patel's leadership, it was an attempt to corner him morally. But these kinds of accusations have consequences. They undermine public trust, and they lump thousands of agents who investigate the darkest crimes imaginable into the same category as the criminals they fight. And yet, Patel's answer matters. He cites a 33% increase in counterintelligence arrests and 1,500 child predator arrests in 7 months. Those are not small numbers. And regardless of who started the investigations, the American people deserve more transparency, not shouting matches. This moment captures the dysfunction of our politics right now, where legitimate national security questions morph into explosive accusations, and where calm oversight collapses into emotional spectacle. It reminds us that these hearings aren't just about headlines, they shape how Americans understand the strength and credibility of the institutions that protect them. And this is why staying informed matters, because behind every viral clip, every confrontation, and every accusation is a real system that affects real lives. If you want more breakdowns like this, commentary that helps you understand not just what happened, but why it matters, make sure you stick with us, subscribe, and turn on alerts so you don't miss the next deep dive.